Bella Hadid's skin is not the result of luck. Neither is Cindy Crawford's at 60 years old, still looking like she could walk a runway tomorrow. There's a reason her skin barely shows her age, and it's not just good genetics or expensive surgery. It's a list of small habits, some of them so simple, you're going to be a little annoyed you didn't know about them already. By the end of this, you'll know exactly what Gigi Hadid, Adriana Lima, and Gisele Bundchen actually do behind the scenes, not the stuff their brand deals tell them to say, but the real habits that keep showing up over and over again when you dig into their interviews. Here's the thing about models. They can't hide behind filters the way influencers can. Their job is literally to have skin that holds up under bright lights, high-definition cameras, and zero retouching half the time. So, when a model talks about her skincare routine, it's not random. It's something she's tested for years because her income depends on it. That makes their habits worth paying attention to, way more than some random skincare trend you saw on your feed yesterday. We're going to break down what some of the biggest names in the industry actually do. Cindy Crawford, Gisele Bundchen, Adriana Lima, Bella and Gigi Hadid, Miranda Kerr, Romy Strayed, Helena Christensen, and a few more. Some of what they do is going to surprise you. Some of it is going to feel almost too basic to be true. But stick around, because near the end, I'm going to tell you about the one habit that almost every single one of them mentioned, the thing that ties all of this together, and it's probably not what you're expecting. Let's start with the problem most of us actually have. We try 100 different products. We see an ad for a serum, we buy it, we use it for 2 weeks, we don't see results, and we move on to the next thing. Our skin becomes a science experiment with no clear plan. Meanwhile, these women have been doing the same 5 or 6 things consistently for years, sometimes decades. And that consistency is the part nobody talks about. It's not glamorous, it's not exciting content for a thumbnail, but it's the actual answer. Let's talk about Cindy Crawford first, because honestly, she might be the most impressive example on this entire list. She's 60 years old right now, and if you saw a photo of her without context, you'd probably guess she's in her 40s. In a video she shared recently, she walked through her actual morning. She wakes up early, around 6 a.m. By 6:30, she's doing a gua sha facial massage. If you don't know what that is, it's a flat stone tool that you use to massage your face and neck, and the idea is that it boosts circulation and helps reduce puffiness. By 7 a.m., she's drinking a spoonful of something called fire cider, which is basically a mix of vinegar, ginger, garlic, and other spicy ingredients that's supposed to support your immune system. She also dry brushes her legs, which is another circulation trick, and she does something that sounds almost too simple. She gets into her hot tub in the morning for a quick dip. In an older interview, she was also asked what one product she'd keep if she had to get rid of everything else, and she didn't hesitate. She named a specific serum as her non-negotiable step. The pattern here isn't really about the products, it's about how she treats her morning like a ritual instead of a rushed 5-minute task before running out the door. Now, let's talk about Adriana Lima, because her approach is almost the opposite in terms of complexity, but just as consistent. She's talked about using coconut oil on her entire body, not just her face. After that, she layers on a face moisturizer, then a face cream, and she actually switches between a heavier cream or a lighter one, depending on how her skin feels that day. That's an important detail, because a lot of people use the exact same products every single day regardless of how their skin actually feels. And that's often a mistake. Skin changes with weather, hormones, stress, sleep. She finishes with a serum, and she's talked about being a big fan of face masks on a regular basis, not just for special occasions. She also works closely with a specific dermatologist whose products she trusts for both her day and night routine, which tells you she's not guessing, she's following expert advice consistently over time. Then there's Gisele Bundchen, and her perspective is honestly one of the most important ones on this list, especially if you're trying to fix your own skin, because she connects skincare directly to diet. She said pretty directly that she considers a healthy diet to be her real skincare routine. Not a serum, not a cream. Food. She prioritizes whole foods over anything processed. She drinks a lot of water, and she pays attention to electrolytes because she believes they help her body actually absorb that water instead of just flushing it out. She's also talked about sleep being non-negotiable for her because she says exhaustion shows up on your face almost immediately, no matter what products you're using to cover it up. For her actual routine, she keeps it simple. She removes her makeup with coconut oil, rinses with lukewarm water, and follows up with a moisturizer. That's it. No 12-step routine. Just consistency with basics, paired with what she's eating and how much she's sleeping. You'd think someone like Gisele, who's been one of the highest paid models in the world, would have some secret, complicated regimen with rare ingredients flown in from somewhere exotic. But no, her actual answer is food, water, and sleep. That should tell you something about where the real foundation of good skin actually comes from. Now let's get into Bella and Gigi Hadid. Gigi has been very open about her routine evolving over time. She's admitted that in high school, she over-exfoliated her skin using a scrub that was honestly too harsh, the kind of product a lot of us probably used as teenagers without realizing the damage it was doing. Since then, she's shifted toward gentler products. She's mentioned Cetaphil specifically as something she uses now instead of harsh scrubs. During her pregnancy, she switched to cleaner, more natural products because her skin became more sensitive, and she's continued using a heavier moisturizer in colder months to deal with dryness. One detail she shared that's actually a smart trick is that she puts a lip and skin ointment on her lips first thing in her routine, then lets it sit there while she does the rest of her routine, so by the time she gets to her lipstick later, the product has had time to actually absorb instead of just sitting on top wet. Bella Hadid's approach leans more into adapting her routine for different situations, day versus night, depending on what she's doing and how her skin is reacting that week. The common thread between both Hadid sisters, and honestly between almost everyone on this list, is that they're not loyal to one fixed routine forever. They adjust based on what their skin is telling them in real time. Let's bring in a few more names so you have the full picture. Miranda Kerr leans toward natural ingredients. She's talked about loving things like turmeric, and she tends to prefer routines that don't require 15 steps just to leave the house. Romy Stride, who's walked in Victoria's Secret shows, gave one of the most refreshingly basic answers when asked about her secret. She said moisturize regularly, drink water, eat healthy food. That's the whole answer. No secret ingredient, no rare oil from a remote island. Helena Christensen, who's 56 years old and still has incredible skin, did a full walkthrough of her routine, and her approach reflects decades of trial and error, figuring out what actually works for her specific skin instead of chasing trends. If you go back through every single one of these examples, Cindy Crawford, Adriana Lima, Gisele Bundchen, Gigi and Bella Hadid, Miranda Kerr, Romy Stride, Helena Christensen, there's one thing that shows up in almost every single story. It's not a specific product. It's not a specific brand. It's consistency paired with listening to what your body and skin actually need on any given day. Cindy does her ritual every single morning, not just when she feels like it. Adriana adjusts her moisturizer based on how her skin feels instead of forcing the same product regardless. Gisele treats her diet and sleep as part of her skincare, not separate from it. Gigi changed her routine completely once she realized her old habits were actually hurting her skin instead of helping it. The real secret, if you want to call it that, is that these women pay attention. They notice when something isn't working, and they're willing to change it, instead of sticking with a product just because it's expensive or popular. They treat their skin like something that needs daily maintenance, the same way you treat brushing your teeth, not something you only think about when you see a breakout in the mirror. So if you're sitting here taking notes, here's what you can actually steal from all of this. Don't expect one product to fix everything. Pay attention to how your skin feels and changes, not just what's trending on your feed. Treat hydration and sleep as part of your routine, not separate from it. And most importantly, pick a few basics and stick with them long enough to actually see what works, instead of switching products every 2 weeks out of impatience. None of these women are doing anything that requires a celebrity budget. Coconut oil, a basic moisturizer, drinking water, sleeping enough, that's available to literally anyone watching this right now. The expensive serums and the dermatologist visits help, sure, but they're not the foundation. The foundation is what we just talked about, and that part is free. If this helped you see skincare a little differently, the next video breaks down exactly what these same models eat in a day to stay in shape. and it might surprise you just as much as this one did.